Okay everybody, TechTeller here again with the 24th episode of the Heroes Appendix video series. Its purpose is to help newer and veteran players alike to fully understand the ins and outs of all the characters in Hero Wars Mobile. In today's video, we're reviewing the first place winner of the most recent vote amongst my patrons, Morrigan, who is one of the launch event undead heroes and was part of the first heroes to have skills that specifically affect a subset of characters. She is the only hero who can negate all resurrection effects and the backbone of any good undead team. In today's video, we're going to be discussing her skills, how they visually appear, and their uses both practically and strategically, when to use Morrigan, when not to, her roles in the team, skin priority, artifact priority, and glyph priority. First up is Morrigan's activatable skill, Army of Graven, which is commonly referred to as her ultimate because this is the ability she can use once her yellow energy gauge is filled during battle. Morrigan will grow in size and raise her hand to the sky wielding a glowing skull, which will release numerous spirits into the air, and 3 small skeletons will appear surrounding Morrigan and fight on her side, also wielding the undead trait. This skill has a very high health ratio at 130% magic attack plus 22,800, which scales well both from leveling and raising her magic attack. Additionally, a damage ratio of 30% magic attack plus 3,000 for each skeleton summoned. So regarding this skill, Morrigan can be relevant at all stages of the game. A note to make is the maximum amount of skeletons she can control at any given time is limited to 6. If additional skeletons are summoned, the ones replaced will be the first ones summoned. Another note to make is her skeletons have a unique trait that they are unable to be affected by allied hero auras. However, they do benefit from artifact weapon buffs as well as any skill which is cast during the battle. The skills that cannot affect the skeletons are Thea's Second Wind, Faceless's Spell Expert, Sebastian's Rhythm of War, Jet's Inordinate Fury, Dorian's Initiation, and Morrigan's Moonlight. A final note regarding the skeletons is that they have a base armor of 9,000 and magic defense of 16,000. Next up we have Bone Armor. Morrigan will raise her hands and lean her head back, and her eyes will glow and a greenish blue circle will appear in front of Morrigan, as well as all of her undead allies, granting them bonus armor, magic defense, as well as a heal over time effect that lasts for 10 seconds. This skill can also be used once every 16 seconds. This skill has a 20% magic attack ratio plus 1800, which can grant up to 13,911 to both armor and magic defense, which is about 30% more potent than a defensive skin, so this skill is incredibly valuable to all undead allies if you raise her magic attack. She gains significantly higher bonuses from magic attack than she does from leveling this, so this skill becomes far more valuable later in her progression. The heal triggers for 50% magic attack, however, plus 12,000, which can get up to 42,278, which, while not great at getting you out of a tight situation, for more defensively fortified teams or against chip damage enemies, this skill is great for the periodic heals to assist in not overhealing your party. This skill will heal once every second for 10% of the healing in the skill's description. A note to make is this skill does affect her skeletal minions. Morrigan's third skill is called Moonlight, where she will raise her hand to the sky as a beam of light will shine down from the top of the screen, and will also shine on Morrigan's lowest health undead ally, only once they've fallen below 20% health. This skill heals for a massive 95% magic attack ratio plus 24,000, which is about 200 per level, so the effectiveness of this skill is great throughout the development of your character, as she gains a lot of bonus from both leveling as well as magic attack. This skill can be used once every 8 seconds, And a note to make is this skill can only affect Corvus, Phobos, Kira, and Faceless. It cannot be used to heal Morrigan or any of her skeletons. Last up is Morrigan's passive skill called Necromancy. Whenever an enemy dies, if they attempt to resurrect via Astaroth or Rufus's Violet abilities, Morrigan will cancel the effect and convert their corpse into one of her skeletal minions in the same position that the unit died in among the enemy ranks. There is a secondary effect where the damage dealt by her allied skeletons is supposed to increase by 15% magic attack plus 3,850. However, this secondary part of her skill is currently ineffective and not working in actual gameplay, so her skeletons are missing up to a potential 12,933 additional damage. A note with this skill is she does need to be alive for it to take effect. Let's take a deeper look now and see when you should be using Morrigan. The most common time to use her, you probably guessed it, is with other undead heroes. Next up is when you need to block a hero's resurrection, whether it be from Astaroth or Rufus, to enable you to either pick off early kills or get kills you might not otherwise be able to secure. And the next time to consider picking her is if your team could benefit from her armor penetration artifact weapon. There are many heroes who deal reasonable physical damage but lack their own armor penetration. Heroes like Yasmin, Ziri, Dante, Sebastian, Ju, Ishmael, Artemis, as well as all tanks with a physical attack skin. Now we'll take a look at when you should be avoiding Morrigan in your team. Morrigan herself doesn't really have any weaknesses to exploit, so there aren't many times to specifically avoid using her. So the only time you should consider it is when you're on a team that isn't going to benefit from one of the categories just previously mentioned. So if you have no undead heroes other than her, if you don't need the artifact armor penetration weapon, and if they don't have Astaroth or Rufus on the enemy team, you may want to consider leaving Morrigan out of that fight. Now we'll discuss her roles in the team. Morrigan's role is healer support, which means she has multiple healing and buffing skills. Morrigan is also one of 2 heroes who Faceless cannot copy their ultimate. Her skeletal minions are great units to absorb damaging abilities by the enemy that focus on both low and high percent health, for example, Kark's pop-up and Orion's missiles. Morrigan's skeletons can deal a significant amount of damage during her armor penetration phase, in addition to taking a lot of punishment, particularly from heroes with low penetration or who deal single target damage. She may be impossible for them to kill. Morrigan partnered with Faceless will almost ensure that her bone armor virtually has a 100% uptime because the time that it's down, Faceless will slam the enemy team, stunning them. An additional note to make is during her bone armor at max stats, the skeletal minions will have 29,911 magic defense, which means without a magic penetration artifact weapon active, no mages in the game can deal full damage to her skeletons. In this segment, we'll be discussing her skins. Top priority is her Devil skin, which offers 106,645 health and is the single greatest contributor to her health pool. Since all of her support mechanics rely on her being alive, this is one of the easiest things to see to have the greatest benefit early on. Second in priority is Default skin, which offers 1,365 magic defense, 1,365 physical attack, and 4,095 magic attack. Morrigan gets tons of healing, mitigation, damage, and longevity for both her and her allies, but since we're focusing magic attack through almost every other source, this is pushed to last. Next we'll discuss artifact priority, which means which artifact is the most important to level up first. And the first up is her book, which grants 10,680 magic attack and 53,394 health, and offers her the single largest source of survivability for both her and her undead allies out of the 3 artifacts. Second in priority is her artifact ring. This grants 11,970 magic attack, 3,990 physical attack, and 3,990 magic defense. This is an important artifact to have and can help her a lot, particularly early against casters by way of magic defense, especially if she's partnered with Faceless. and will help keep her going against crit teams and keeping her allies alive longer. The last in priority is her artifact weapon, Raven's Skull, which offers her and her team up to 32,040 armor penetration for 9 seconds. While being a significant boost to everyone's armor penetration, this won't be applicable in every situation, so unless you're specifically using her for this purpose, this should remain lowest in priority. In our final segment, we'll be discussing glyph priority. The first glyph is Magic Attack, which grants 3,360 magic attack, will help her healing and damage output reach the highest levels to keep both herself and her allies going longer. Second glyph in priority is Armor, which gives her 3,360 armor, which offers her a must-have level of armor both early in the game and given her position in the team. The third glyph to choose is Intelligence, which adds 560 magic defense, 560 physical attack, and 1,680 magic attack. This will contribute more to her crit resist, magic defense, and a fair amount of healing. The fourth glyph is Health, which provides 30,800 health. This falls in the middle for priority because her health skin and artifact are both so high in priority. The last glyph to choose is her Magic Defense, which provides 3,360 magic defense, which is not necessary for her to be effective, but it is nice and can help create situations against mages where she's alive and under the effects of bone armor seemingly unkillable. Okay everybody, hopefully you found this video informative. If you do, please like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. Another thing to consider is recommending my content to your friends as well if you know they yearn for knowledge of the game. Since these videos are private, word of mouth is how they will get spread. Also, for a large and active Hero Wars mobile community, join my Facebook group called Hero Wars Mobile Community, The GOAT. The link will be in the video's description. Thanks for watching.